Campus with me, your host, the big man on campus. Get your pancakes ready, get your coffee ready, and turn down the TV and listen to us. Donnie Rightside joins me, my partner in crime. Donnie, we head into another weekend here. No college football. College football bowl games start, actually. What am I
Yeah.
saying? We got the NFL, we got college hoops. It's a light week for finals week, but that'll ramp up towards the end of the week. Donnie Rightside, how we doing today?
Doing good today. Night off in North Broad, which we'll get to in just a few moments here. But, one of those days that I like here, Jeff, on the show. It's Thursday. A lot of times, a real deep college basketball card, which isn't the case tonight. One football game in the NFL, which we'll get to, which is it even really a football game if it doesn't even matter at all? But, this is the time that we like to come and talk. We got some great topics on the show today. If you see a couple of the scroll downs there, social media acts of doom. One of my favorite topics here we'll go over as well. Have a little bit of fun with that, big man. But it's another day. It's another dollar. Let's have some fun. See what we could do today, boss man.
I'm not sure how much fun we'll have with that, but yes, I agree. Definitely some good topics. We'll talk about the disastrous night tonight for NFL fans. I mean, Denver and Indianapolis sounds like a fun game to watch. I'll be glued to the TV waiting for this one. We got NBA. We got a resurge, Donnie. I'm 1-1 with the NBA plays after a brutal beat that we'll talk about when we get to the NBA games between the Lakers and Knicks the other night. We'll involve everyone in the chat. Want to welcome everyone in here on a Thursday morning. It's 10 o'clock. Make sure you hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Please subscribe to the show. Also, make sure all day, every day, you're checking out everything over at sbrpicks.com. I actually have SBR Picks open right now. We got a show schedule on there. Got a couple of free picks, different game breakdowns. You got all sorts of podcasts and blogs, all sorts of great things. And make sure you're heading over to the contest page at SBR. Lots to do over there. We have the college football bowl contest. You got some of the college hoops ones. All sorts of different contests to win cash and prizes. A great way to build up your bankroll, maybe on the side with some of the contests. But Donnie, let's jump in. Oh, and by the way, Donnie, we got to jump into news and notes here before we get into the show. I mean, we always do our morning headlines, and there are a couple morning headlines that we want to get to. Obviously, the first big one is the savior is back for the Green Bay Packers. Might be a little too late, Donnie, for the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers coming back, but he gives them a shoot chance. They got to head to the Panthers and Vikings. I mean, him coming back's great and all, but too little too late, isn't it?
It could be too little too late. I mean, they have a tough – if you're looking from one perspective, you say, my God, boy, they have such a tough schedule, the last 3 football games. But when you look at it, Jeff, with the Packers, if you want to make the playoffs, isn't it a fantastic schedule to have for them? It's all 3 teams that are above them, all 3 teams in the NFC. If you want to go to the playoffs, you have to climb a ladder, and the best way to climb a ladder is knock down foes that you need to beat in order to get into the playoffs. And it starts this weekend. What a tough spot. I mean, you're going to come back a little bit rusty. You're going to go on the road against a tough Panthers team, primed and ready to head down the playoff stretch, after beating the Minnesota Vikings last week. So that's going to be an interesting one. But you're right. Is it too little too late? They have to win this game, presumably against the Panthers. I don't know if they can do it. I'm already circling my calendars for the next week, regardless of what happens. Mark this down. They will beat the Minnesota Vikings next week, and then you'll see what happens in Detroit. But you're right. It might be a little bit too late, too late for the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers here, Jeff.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's for breakfast, this Kagan saga? What did I? Oh, I just had some bran flakes, some little fruit. You need fiber in your diet, Donnie. I don't know if you know that, but
that's true.
Gotta have some fiber. I didn't eat particularly good at the game last night. I had a little diet all day off, so you got to get that fiber in your diet, Donnie. A little water. Got the coffee here, so we also go to another good comment here, but I don't know what the hell is sandwich. What's a sandwich, Donnie? What the hell is that? By the way, Donnie,
let me get that sandwich, man.
Yeah, we'll get to this. I actually have a lot to say on our last topic in the news notes, but I do want to talk about this, Donnie. Marlins being a pawn shop, and that's a great way to put that. And Scotty Boras ripped them yesterday, the big agent. You look at this team going forward, and I mean, they were pretty bad last year. I mean, you look at this year, I mean, they're literally going to be like the White Sox last year, who just literally let everyone go. kept their prospects and built up kind of that bevy of those prospects. Who's this team have to throw the ball? First of all, I mean their rotation was brutal last year. Now you get rid of not just Giancarlo Stanton, you get rid of D. Gordon, you get rid of Ozuna. You were going to get rid of Yelich. I guess they'll keep him around, which is a good move. But I mean, do you obviously Derek Jeter's trying to limit payroll, but I mean, at some point you got to field the team too.
Yeah, I have a really big problem. Not as the overall landscape of the Marlins itself. This isn't I don't want like a new franchise that comes in where you don't even have like your AAA team, single A teams figured out, and it's like an expansion team where you're just drawing on other people's rejects just to field a team and get it going. This is the problem I have with Major League Baseball in this instance, right, Jeff? You're trying to push Jeffrey Loria out the door, the last Marlins owner, a clearly carpetbagger, scam artist, should be thrown in jail for the money that he stolen from the city and the city of Miami and the state of Florida, Miami-Dade County. Should absolute fraudulent. Now, the question I have is here, Jeff, there's billionaires on top of billionaires on top of billionaires on top of billionaires out there. Like, look at the NBA. Steve Ballmer just buys an NBA team, the Clippers. The market value at the time was like $1 billion. He says, you know what? I'm so goddamn rich. I don't even want to go through all these hoops. I'll pay $2 billion. Just give me the basketball team. I'm going to, max out expenses. No contract is too big. All I want to do is win. Whether or not he wins is a different story. But the franchise is taken care of at that point. Now, you're buying the Marlins at this point, right, Jeff? You don't really have that much of a fan base. You have very few pieces right now in that franchise that you want to keep together. A decent lineup heading into next season if you made no changes and just added on. So then you have a cash-strapped backers, whatever 4 or 5 people they scrape together with pennies and dollars to buy the Marlins. And now you're going to fire sale off the Marlins when all you're looking to do, Jeff, is knock down payroll. Well, I don't understand how they were even allowed to buy the Marlins when they don't have enough money to even operate at a normal Major League Baseball schedule. Do you want to get rid of Stanton because he makes $30 million? He's the MVP of the league. How about you bought Stanton out or said, you know what? He's owed $300 million. We're the Marlins. We'll pay $250 million of that. But I'm going to trade you to the Yankees. You know what I want from the Yankees? Your top 4 prospects. That's how you build a team. I still can't understand how Major League Baseball let them get in there and just fire sale that team. It's unbelievable.
You got to wonder what the league thinks now. I mean, this team's an absolute mess. And, like you said, acquiring new ownership, you got to think the league's pretty pissed off. Jeter not attending winter meetings, Donnie. Attended some criticism after he was shown at the Dolphin football game Monday night. What an owner so far. What a nice start to being an owner. Already hated by everyone. And this look, I love Derek Jeter as a player, but what they're doing down in Miami. Look, no one roots for this team anyway. I mean, what a waste.
No, but I mean, you fire sale off the only guy that matters, so to speak. There, you're going to get rid of Yelich next. You got rid of Ozuna. You got rid of D. Gordon. So you don't even have anything to look forward to as a fan. Now, Jeff, if I'm coming in a groundswell and I have an ownership effort, you should be able to be vetted by Major League Baseball. It says you guys better buy this team for $1.2 billion. I better see an extra cash flow of $400 million in your guys' bank accounts to operate this team. Because isn't it a smart business move, Jeff, to go down and say, bam, new ownership. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to keep this team intact. We're going to make a move, maybe get another arm in here as a starting pitcher to show that maybe we're on the up and up and we're going to improve. And how about the best? Instead of decreasing your payroll, Jeff, how about you get more than 100 people in the stands? How about if you increased your, game activities from 12,000 people to 25,000 people? Wouldn't you make up the difference right there in revenue, ticket revenue, people coming to the game, spending money on parkets, food, and everything? Isn't that the better way to do it than saying, I'm going to buy your team and I have no money to pay. I'm going to strip it down to the bare bones like I'm an asset. I'm going to acquire another asset and just fire sale it in 4 years and make a little bit of money on this deal. I can't understand how Major League Baseball didn't vet this process properly.
But as being a Phillies fan, Donnie, you have to be happy that there's another team out of the way. But the Marlins are a lifeless franchise. They're probably the worst in the league. Big man, did you see your future last night? That Temple's cheerleader coach. I did see her last night, and I got to admit, like always, lucky. She was looking. Yeah, you've seen her before, Donnie?
Yes, I have. It's funny. The last time we went down to last year's game, the UCF game.
Yeah.
Yes, the finest cheerleader out there was actually the coach, and it was the same. And I noticed her right away again.
Yeah, she's so fine. Like, she's one of the hottest. I told every time I see her, I told Lucky when I was there last game, I said, dude, she's the finest woman on that team, and she's
always
the cheerleader.
Decked out. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, she's always looking great. Yeah, yeah, great point. Yes, I did see her, and as always, she was looking very good. What's up to everyone out there listening? Can't list everyone. Hey, Bruce Chad's in here. Settle down, Bruce
Yep. He
Chad.
settled down
Uh,
already. No, he did.
no Bitcoin talk, Bruce Chad. But it's time that we get in, and we'll talk about that DP13. We got stuff we're talking about here. Um, Donna, we talked about last night, and it's not really a highlight I want to talk about. Temple didn't play well last night, but it's hard to play well when Villanova just couldn't miss. It's hard to beat the number one team in the country, no matter where you play. You could have played anywhere in the world; it wouldn't have mattered. Villanova was on fire last night. I actually watched Donnie when I got home. They had the replay on TV, and I was
Yeah.
watching like the first half. And you remember when they got it down to like 7? I think it was.
Yeah, it was like 27. It's like 27, 21, 28, 21, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had went down 25-5. It was like 10
Yep.
minutes in, they were down 20 already. And then they went on a little run, and look, everyone in the place thought, okay, here we go. And look, then the problem Temple's gonna have all year is their guard plays great. Rose is good. Shiz Alston's fantastic. Obi Neccioni hasn't played particularly well lately, but he has been good on the defensive end. They have no bigs. Their bigs are clumsy. They're out of pocket. There's nothing more irritating, Donnie, if you're a player on a team where the big just cannot catch the basketball. He can't make a move. He can't do anything. It's really like playing with four players. They don't necessarily have bigs, and that's going to hurt them all year. The bigs are too slow to defend on the perimeter. You saw that against Amari Spellman. He was knocking shots in all night. It's just it's really irritating. But Donnie, there were some interesting things that went on. By the way, Chris Lomas actually looked up what the cheerleader coach's name was, which is kind of creepy. She looks better in person. Picture on the Temple website doesn't do her justice. But Donnie, there were some cool things that happened last night. One, I really believed in every sense of the word the city of Philadelphia is cursed, even the college teams. Donnie, I don't know if many people know, and you know this to a T, as do I, and so does every Temple fan. Jalen Brunson should have been a Temple Owl. You know it. I know it. And you have to wonder what has to actually happen for something to go right for any team in this city limit. So his father gets a sexual assault charge right
Yep.
before he's supposed to come to Temple to be the coach, and his son was supposed to come with. Fran Duffy, being the straight shooter that he is, says, we're not going to allow that. We don't want him on our coaching staff, so we're going to let the number 3 point guard in the country go walk away and go to Villanova. What a surprise. And of course, Donnie, he's the best player in the country, probably. Listen, Jalen Brunson, I test last night, he's the best player in the country to me. At least definitely the best guard. Dude, he's nasty, Donnie.
Yeah, no, you can't get around it. It was a shame the way it worked out because he was signed, sealed, and delivered to Nova, or excuse me, to Temple. If you followed his recruiting process, it wasn't even really a recruiting process. It was just known fact, going to follow Dad's footsteps. Dad's going to be there. We're going to
Yes.
dominate, and then other
And Donnie,
recruits, would have fed off it and make everybody better. You're right, man. You're right.
and you know what else? Here's the other thing about it. He Shiz Alston, his father LeVar Alston played with Rick Brunson, I believe, at Temple. So there's such a connection there. They'd played together the whole life as kids, Shiz and Jalen. I mean, it would have just been a perfect match. And this
Yeah.
is the kind of stuff that happens. It just goes back to the city. I mean, it just is what it is. But Donnie, we did have some cool things that happened last night.
Mhm.
You got to tell the story about when we're standing there in the little, we're just eating something. You got to tell the story about what happened, Donnie.
Yeah, the best part about the story is we get down there, it's a freezing cold night, meet up with Big Man in the lobby, we go through. We're down there probably like an hour and 15 minutes before tip-off. Teams are out on the court. They don't even have their uniforms on, just shooting around. So we're walking around just to find a little bit of grub to eat. So we walk down, find a couple spots, meet back up, and, we're in sort of that little hallway, like midway through the Leah Center. We're just watching shoot around, eating some food, just hanging out and standing around. And you get a group of guys come up, and they'd see Big Man right away. And like, hey, man, watch your podcast, watch your show all the time. And immediately, as we know Jeff to be the person that he is, instead of immediately saying, oh, man, that's awesome, Jeff automatically takes the Philadelphia way and says, you're bullshitting me, man. You bullshit me right now. You bullshit me. You pull my leg.
No,
It was
I
really
just didn't
cool to
believe
see.
it. It was pretty cool.
That's what I mean.
It was
Big
sweet. It
Man,
was
instead
like,
of saying, hey, man, thanks, he was like, nah, somebody's pranking me right now. It was awesome, man. It was great.
no, it was. It
Yeah.
was like, wow, we're actually getting noticed here, and no one paid them to say this. It's pretty cool. But yeah, they were cool kids. I don't know if they're listening today, but shout out to those guys. We got a little video of one of the kids. He likes SBR, enjoys watching the show. So yeah, we're moving on up down in the world, as they
Yeah,
would
man.
say.
Hey, man, when we
Uh,
said we're going out on the town, we mean it. Me and the big man will be there amongst the people at these events.
Yeah, and we've often said we've met listeners, Donnie. I mean,
Yep.
come to a game with us. We've met a couple guys.
Yep.
Feel free to come and opine. But Donnie, one other thing before we move on. This actually didn't end the night for me. I dropped you off, and I had to do some things in the city. And while I was doing it, it started snowing, as you saw.
Yep.
Donnie, it literally took me 2 hours to get home last night. Like the snow was brutal. I I I barely got home. I literally got home at like 12:30. It was brutal. Um,
Yeah, no, so
so
you get that first layer of snow down on the road where it's a little bit slippery. You don't know if it's icy or not. You don't know if you could drive fast or get wild. And of course, everybody else hits their brakes, and there's usually some sort of road crew working mysteriously in the middle of the night down the one lane. Yeah, we've all been there before.
yeah, it was pretty brutal. And then I say to myself, I'm like, this is brutal. What a shitty game we went to. It just was what a bad night. But it was like, you know what? It was good. Hung out with Donnie Wrights out. It was fun. But Donnie, we move on, and I don't really want to move on to this, but I guess we have to. Try picks. I only watch and listen because of Donnie.
Me
Well,
too,
what is
Jeff.
that's no
Me and him.
surprise. That's no surprise. And again, the temple picture of the cheerleaders coach does not do her justice. She's way hot just
No,
because
you
the way
got
she.
it's such a funny point you bring up there because it's one of the things you don't really mention, like, yo, check this out or something like that. Because I mean, everybody's a guy, so I mean, there's how many cheerleaders were on the court? 50 last night between Temple and Villanova, and more
And
guys. So you
yeah,
check out the scenes, but you always get back to the cheerleading coach there. Like I don't because I'm a 40 years old, so I'm not 17, 18, 19, whatever these cheerleaders are. I'm sure she's probably in her 30s or whatever it is, and that's the first person you notice every time I go down. That's pretty funny.
not for nothing. Like it didn't make it worse. The temple was shit last night, but all we had was Villanova fans around us. It was brutal, which I
Yeah.
hate. I hate Villanova. I can't stand that school. And
That put us
all we
behind
had
the
was those.
Villanova bench. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, those hacks behind us. Yeah, it was brutal. But let's move on, Donnie. We got to get this out of the way. We'll
Yeah.
move on to Thursday night football here. Denver and Indianapolis. Come on, Larry, move the thing down. What are you doing? Larry fell asleep.
There we go. We got it. We got it. We got it.
Just kidding. Just messing. We move on to 301, 302, Donnie. Denver heading on the road to take on Indianapolis. Denver 2.5, 40.5 on the total here. Uh, Donnie, Denver, I actually thought was a good play last week against the Jets at home. I thought people were, just really, people are down in Denver, which doesn't make,
Yeah.
it's not surprising or anything. But, look, they were at home. The Jets stink. I thought it was a good spot for them. But, Donnie, Denver's 0-6 on the road against the spread. I mean, can you really get involved with them, even in Indy?
I mean, to be honest with you, no. Like, it doesn't this game come down to is it the fantastic game of Thursday Night Football? It's an embarrassment, but this is what you're going to get because you can't flex out Thursday Night Football games this late in the season. Maybe early in the season, you're figuring, ooh, Denver, going to get hot, make a playoff run. Oh boy, Andrew Luck going to be playing for the AFC South title. By this point in the season, which neither has worked out. Both are horrific football teams, one with 3 wins, one with 4 wins. When you look at the game overall, do you trust the Denver Broncos? All right, so we saw them beat the Jets. Jets lost their starting quarterback. They beat them 23-0 at home. Again, with 2 teams that were not looking to get to the playoffs. So nice win by Denver, yes. But the weeks before that, and I'm even talking weeks, Jeff, the months before that, Denver just doesn't show up. So if you're looking at this game just to bet it on an overall perspective of Thursday Night Football, it's hard to win on the road on Thursday night. Short work week, I get it. Is Indianapolis any good? No, they're not very good. But at least when you look at the MO of Indianapolis, for the most part, at Houston, 20-14 winner versus Pittsburgh, 20-17, Tennessee, 20-16, Jacksonville, tough game always. Jacksonville beat them to a pulp. 30-10. Then you look at last week in the snow in Buffalo. They were game in that football game. They actually should have won the football game on that weird 2-point conversion that was
But
called
this
back
is
for pass interference. But go ahead.
This is a small number, though, Donnie. I mean, just 2.5. I mean, if it's 4.5, 5, maybe you're more inclined to take Indy here. And I'll be real. I mean, even at 2.5, I think what you're saying is you would take them as well. But it's tough just because the line is pretty low. You can't bank on Denver's defense anymore, Donnie. I mean, this team is not what they once were defensively.
No, you're absolutely right, which I'm leaning like Indianapolis right now, and you can see it's -2.5, -115. Even Sportsbook is showing a -3, -105. If you can get a field goal in this football game, I'm going towards the home team, Indianapolis Colts, because I don't know what I'm getting out of Denver right now. What, Denver just found some magic potion because they won one game after getting throttled for like 8 straight games and didn't even feel like showing up? And again, is Indianapolis going to show up to this game? At least they're home at this point. You have a quarterback that's a little bit mobile out there. And the one MO outside of the Jacksonville game, which again, Jacksonville's going to beat up a lot of football teams because of how good they are on defense, is what are you getting out of this game? Sometimes to me, Jeff, it just boils down to give me the points in the situation. If you can get 3, take the Indianapolis Colts. They're the better team? Probably not. Is Denver on paper have much more talent? They certainly do. But Denver's cooked, dead, and buried. Sometimes you just got to take the points and just hold your nose in these instances.
12 of 16, Donnie, in this series has gone over the total. Obviously, going to have much better conditions here in the dome. Maybe look over the total a little bit, just because I think most people still think Denver's got a great defense and they're going to show up here on that side of the ball, which they may. But at 40.5, it's not a bad total in a dome. But Donnie, I have to admit, I will admit, I don't care to say it, I will not watch. Not 30 seconds, not 15. I won't watch 5 seconds of this game. Just putting that out. I'd literally rather watch HDTV or C-SPAN, which I don't hate C-SPAN. Some of the coverage is decent. But listen, I'd rather watch Fox News than I'd watch this game, Donnie. It's just not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, Jeff, we have the return today. Also interesting Thursday night. What a better way to spice the game up and say, you know what? Hey, guys, if you like Call of Duty, if you like Madden, if you like NBA 2K, you're our target audience, even though you don't watch sports, on TV to begin with. Let's just go with the Skycam again tonight and piss off whatever fans that we usually like to have in a game. Let me tell you something. If the Eagles were playing on a Thursday night football game and they're using the Skycam, I will rip my TV out, run up to, Fifth Avenue, New York City, and throw my TV right through the NFL offices out there. I get, there's still gamblers out there. People are going to watch the football game because not much is on tonight heading into the holidays. Not a great college hoops card, whatever the NBA is, NHL. People are still going to watch this football game. And the people that watch this football game, Jeff, typically are NFL fans. We're used to getting it one way, HD, 4K, widescreen. We don't need to see the quarterback in the pocket like it's Madden and where the football is being thrown out, where you can't tell what the hell is even going on. So shout out to the NFL once again, who seemingly has no clue on what their fans actually want to watch and just throw stuff against the wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah, actually, Donnie, they're actually going to have the game against the Raiders for the Eagles on Skycam, I heard. So better get ready for that.
On Christmas, right? Yeah. Give me a Skycam Christmas. I might just have to go down to the game on purpose just to avoid that.
Yeah. By the way, Donnie, last night on WIP, I had to sit through 3 hours of Vince Quinn, who's a new host, just be one of the most negative human beings in the world. Eagles have no chance. It's pathetic that people actually think they have a chance. Blah 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 blah. I mean, I get you want to get your opinion out there, but when you're on Philadelphia radio, it might not be the best idea, Vince Quinn, if you're listening. Guys, you must
negativity brings out the best in all of us, Jeff.
Yes, Vladimir, you must be overlooking the fatigue factor of the snow game last week. Colts were fatigued more than usual after running 8 inches of snow, according to quotes I read. Now short turnover. That's a good point, Vladimir Larinov. A very good point. We kind of take that for granted because they're NFL players and we think they're total specimens, which they are. But Donnie, I was watching that. That's a point by him that he makes. It's kind of like running in sand, Donnie. Or anything, any kind of different surface. I mean, running in snow is very difficult, and for a whole 4 quarters, a close game. Now you got to go play a couple days later. You might be onto something here, Vladimir, with that. That's not a bad point.
How if you counter the point? How if you counter the point saying that if you're playing tackle football in the snow, you don't hit the turf? Like you get a nice pillow on the ground. Like you're like, damn. Like, you know what? I don't feel like I was in 60 car wrecks this weekend. They were just catching each other. There was no hitting. It was really catching. Outside of the Peterman play that he went down and got a helmet to helmet and probably got knocked out of concussion this week. But outside of that, I can see your point is you're slugging through the snow. But then again, nobody really was hitting anybody.
No, that's a good point. I mean, it's definitely, I guess, as far as the leg stuff. I mean, you're just, you're not going to have legs. But like you said, Donnie, I mean, Denver is the more talented football, surely.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
They're on the road. And listen, I mean, I really don't want to bet on a team that's 0-6 on the road. I have no opinion on the game. Donnie slight lean to the Indianapolis Colts. But hey, who wants to bet on Chuck Pagano? Not really a guy I want my money in the hands of. Uh,
Chuck Strong,
so
Jeff. Chuck Strong. Oh man.
what we learned about Donnie Wrightson today is, as always, he'll continue to hate and disdain for Skycam, which I
Mm.
do kind of hate as well. It gives me a headache, and I don't like to have headache. Donnie, we move on to hitting the hardwood, a segment that I always look forward to every day. We have a small card tonight, just 4 games, and the big reason this is a shitty week around college hoops, just because it is finals week. There's not a ton of games going on just because of the different finals and that kind of thing, but you know what, Donnie? I've had a system that I've been following for a couple weeks now where I'm literally just sticking to a game a day. As long as I can find one game a day, it's gotten the job done for me. Um, had another winner last night, so we'll just keep trying to find value in a small card here. But you look at the games today, it's not even like the games are good. It's not like they're saying, okay, we're going to throw 4 games out and we're going to give you 2 bangers. We're going to give you Duke and
Yeah,
Carolina
from
and,
Madison Square
you know,
Garden. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, where you can definitely kind of watch and be excited about. The marquee game of the day, Donnie, is Valpo Northwestern. I guess Santa Clara Southern Cal, if you like that kind of thing. But before we get into that, Donnie, the holiday hoops coming up. It's obviously a lot like Thanksgiving. You just want to make sure when college hoops, you're doing your due diligence on where games are being played, how many games are being played in short amounts of time. You don't want to just go into a game blind, and that's why I've said some of these games, like Texas Southern, for instance, you really have to understand what these schools do on a yearly basis. Texas Southern's main goal as a basketball program is to not win games. It's not to be competitive. It's to go on the road and face the toughest schedule in America and play the toughest teams. All the teams in the SWAC do this. All the teams in the MEAC do this, and they do this to fund their athletic programs. Donnie Wright said. Coppin State's coach, not Juan Dixon, the coach before them, he often said that he would literally go out and try to find 10 of the toughest opponents possible because they paid the most. That's what these schools do. And you have to be well aware of what exactly you're getting involved with when you take Texas Southern or a team like that. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you watch these teams. Make sure you know who's playing and who's not. And just really just do things that you should be doing already. It's not rudimentary. It's not hard to figure out. Do your homework. Make sure you're not blind betting teams you've never seen. Really just kind of make sure you're reading and doing that kind of thing, Donnie, because you don't want to be the guy that is watching the game on Big Ten Network, and it comes out that the best player for Texas Southern is not playing tonight because of a knee injury he got in practice because of a workload. You don't want to be that guy. But yeah, tonight, Donnie, you got a game between Valpo and Northwestern. I Donnie, is this the marquee matchup of the day? You would agree?
I would guess it would be, yeah. I mean, from the limited card, unless you're looking at South Dakota and Northern Arizona, and that duel.
Yeah, but you look at this game here. This is an interesting one, and this is kind of exactly what I just said. Make sure you're doing your due diligence and understanding what exactly is going on right now. Valpo's numbers are going to be shaded a bit just because. Look, are they a good basketball team? Yeah, I would say. I mean, they're 8-2. They've moved into the Missouri Valley. They do a pretty good job defensively. Good rebounding team. Definitely have a big advantage in this game on the boards, but they're not a good shooting team. And over the week, they figured out, Donnie, that Tavon Walker, the best player on this team, has mononucleosis. He's not going to be around for a while, and
Yeah.
that's a huge loss to this team. That's the reason they lost to Ball State. If he was in there against Ball State, they would have beat the Cardinals badly. But when you take a kid out that scores 16 points a game, grabs 5 boards, 2 steals a game, one of your better free throw shooters, that's what's going to happen. This is a huge loss to Matt Laudich's team here. Now you got to go on the road and play a team in Northwestern who is a better team than you are. They're from a better conference. They get better athletes. The thing with Northwestern is they've really had to figure out the season because it didn't start out particularly well. They had some close calls, didn't play well against St. Peter's and Loyola, Maryland. Their defense struggled, but they've really come back and played good basketball. Defense has been real good lately. Had a big win against Illinois last week. Lost to Purdue in a close one. They really just had to get it figured out, Donnie. They lost their best defender last year, but they have good talent. They're a senior laden team. Have some good scores. Scotty Lindsey's been able to come off the bench and give them valuable minutes, and they're well coached. Collins is a great coach. They have plenty of talent on this team, shoot the ball well. Um, the only question I have here for them is this too many points? Um, gun to my head, I would go with Northwestern here. It's probably not going to be my play of the day. I am looking at another game, but I'm really not interested in Valpo, Donnie, without Tay Von Walker. I think for at least the foreseeable future, they're going to struggle a little bit without him.
Yeah, it looks like if you're looking at that game, Jeff, 61% of the tickets coming in early on Northwestern. Line opened up at 9.5, depending where you're shopping out there. Line has been bet up at least a full point. Jeff, Chris showing -10.5, -115. So obviously, a public side, but the number is moving in the right direction. Over under
That's
this
the
one, Jeff,
point.
141. Pinnacle opened up, sitting around that 140.5 range now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Donnie. That's what you want to see. You want to make sure, when you're betting a game, and that's what I've said. I don't really care much about public move or sharp move or whatever. I just want to make sure that when a clear public side is notified here, that the line goes the right way. So if it's 9.5 and the public's clearly on Northwestern, I want to see the line going up. I don't want to see it staying the same or going down. Obviously, and look, I don't want to hear when I see breakdowns today. I don't want to seem to be like the teacher here, but I don't want to hear people referencing the Northwestern beat Chicago State over the week. I don't want to hear about that.
They're
Chicago
hot.
State is
They're hot, Jeff. Come on.
right. Chicago State's not the worst team in the country. They're not. I don't think they're even They're probably top 15 worst in the country. They're better than like some of the SWAC teams, stuff like that. But I mean, they had 8 points in the first half. I mean, it's hard to get
Yeah,
a
but Jeff,
single
how
digit
about if
half.
somebody tells you about Valpo over the past 4 years, though, and how well they've done against the number?
Well, that doesn't mean anything because Bryce Drew was the coach for most of that period, and they had one of the better
Alec?
players in the country in Alec Peters. So I don't really. Plus, I mean, they had some fantastic rebounders there over the years. This is just not a particularly good and strong Valpo team. Plus, they're in a new conference. They're not in the Horizon League anymore. And now Tavon Walker is out, their best player. It's going to take a little bit of time. Look at them like Wisconsin. They're a lot like Wisconsin now um, without some of their players. Um, we move on, Donnie, to you want to do the play of the day, or we'll do the social media thing here, Donnie, because we
Yeah.
want to kind of break up the monotony of the show here. And
Yep.
guys, this is an interesting topic, just because many of us have seen these nut jobs from Russia and China and these daredevils that go out and basically say, we're going to go up to these 62-story buildings or huge buildings, bridges, things like that. We're just going to climb them. We're not going to have any, safety gear. We're not going to have any helmet. We're not going to have anything. We're just going to go up and climb on these buildings for money and try to look cool. I got to tell you, Donnie, I don't like heights. I know you don't either. I go up to the fourth floor of a parking garage. I'm pretty freaked out. I don't like bridges. I'm not into that sort of thing. These nuts that go up for this kid in China, $11,000 he went up to do this for. It was some sort of contest they were doing. I don't care if you offered me $1 billion. I'm not going up on some skyscraper and hanging on it and trying to look cool. By the way, guys, this kid died after going up to try to do one of these stunts, and he fell. He fell right off the building, 62 stories up. See you later.
Yeah,
Donnie,
yeah,
your
it's it's
thoughts?
it's it's one of those interesting things. I mean, I saw it yesterday and I watched it, and every once in a while you'll see on Twitter, YouTube, somebody will retweet it around, just somebody doing some just insanely maniacal stuff, like over in Shanghai or somewhere in Korea or a huge city, or in Dubai, going up like 100 flights and sitting out on the ledge and doing like cartwheels and eating lunch and hanging off. And I don't understand it, because you're right. I'm deathly afraid of heights. If I go up 3 flights in like a mall and look over the side, I already get queasy. Or I have a daughter, and she runs over to the railing and looks over. Like immediately, I'm thinking like the rail is going to break and we're all going to fall down 3 flights of stories to our death. But this is one of those that actually was caught on tape, and you can see the problem. Like he was doing, I believe, hang over the side, and was doing like pull-ups, and it got to the point where you get a little bit tired, or maybe you were fatigued faster, couldn't pull himself up, and who's going to help you? Nobody really knows you're up there. You just have that one camera on there. Nobody's going to save you, because obviously if somebody knew you were up there, Jeff, the police would be right there pulling you right off the building as it is. But I've seen other videos, like how about the ones where if you look at, I guess, Google or go through YouTube, the guys that climb like the telephone towers, or like have to change the bulb at the top of those high like radar bases. It's some of the most
Sure.
outrageous stuff I've ever seen. And I guess you're built with it where you're not afraid of heights and you can just figure like, hey man, I'm only like, 30 feet up from the ground. It's no big deal, even though you're 3,000 feet up. I don't understand how you could do it, man. I just don't.
I've also seen like this guy. I've seen some of his other videos, and he'll literally get like a hoverboard and go up on these things and like skate around. And it's like, dude,
Oh
it's a
yes.
machine. It could break. Like you're literally trusting the machine to do the job that it's not going to kick out from under you. I, I got to tell you, man, I don't think these kids have stones. They just have stones for brains, basically. Um, Listen, I've said to you, Donnie, I know some people that have worked on some of these skyscrapers in Philly, some of these iron workers and stuff.
Yep.
And look, I mean, you got to remember you're harnessed in. I mean, it's not like you're, or like a bridge painter. They go up in these bridges and stuff. But I mean, it's still freaky. I mean, you got to go up there and do a job while you have, 100 stories below you. I don't get it. I don't know what. There's no
Yeah, like
picture
even
that's
like when you're
worth.
coming across like into the city, like you're crossing the Ben Franklin, or anybody's out there across major bridges there. Like I look up to like the top of the bridge of the suspension and be like, some dude had to walk up there and paint that. And then you see like you get down to Center City, Philadelphia, where they're building a skyscraper, the next Comcast building, and you just look
Yeah,
straight up and you see people working up there. And there's actually, Jeff, because again, there's no working elevators and you're not going up like a flight of stairs. They literally, Jeff, have a crane on top of the skyscraper with one cable and a carriage, like you're bringing up your lunch to put like 10 dudes in and just take them up to like the 72nd floor just to get off. Like it's no big deal. I don't know how more power to you. If union guys want, double wages and that's what they do, and they say, well, fine, you do it. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You get paid whatever you want, my man.
I have a friend who works on radio towers, couldn't pay me all the money in the world to do that, even with the proper equipment. I agree. My dad, Donnie, has one of those portraits of, you've seen the shot. It's like in the 30s of like these guys like
Yes.
sitting on that
Yep.
beam. And it's like, you look at that and it's like they have no equipment. It's just like, you
No.
just stand
Yeah.
up, go get your lunch and start eating. It's amazing.
Scares me to
But
death.
Donnie, and then you look and you Google this, and CNN does a report. Who is to
Mhm.
blame for Chinese rooftopper dramatic death? What do you mean, who's to blame? He's to blame.
The
What
same
do you
guys
mean,
that do
who's
that,
to
like
blame?
used to see it back in the day. The cool thing to do was some of these guys would base jump like off of like high buildings, and that's illegal.
Sure.
Obviously, you can't do that. But now the new thing is this, and you're right. Getting back to the guys on like the hoverboards, just rolling around, or they're doing like handstands on the edge, and somebody's film. Like that's not even money. That's not even your pay. I even like because you can go on YouTube and put a lot of these in. The one that always had me interesting as well. I think it was I think it might have been in the Empire State Building. But the guy that has to go up, he climbs and he goes, how you have the top sphere on there, I guess I don't know if it's radio broadcasting, but I think it's mostly like a lightning tower deterrent where if it strikes, it hits the top. The guy that has to go up and change that bulb when he opens the hatch, Jeff, over New York City, and then has to climb up like another couple
My
stories by
God.
himself. I can't even understand how, like, OSHA
No.
approves that as a job, Jeff? Oh my
It's
God.
amazing. It really is. And then you read the article, Donnie, and you kind of read into like why the kid did it. So I guess, these companies that like will sponsor this kind of stuff, and they'll basically say to the kid, okay, we'll pay for your tickets and everything to fly to the country. We'll pay you money and we'll advertise like on your video. But there's obviously a clause that they're not responsible if you die. But then you read that this kid was doing this to pay for a wedding. Listen, there's no woman, not even the Temple cheerleader coach, could get me to go and do something like this. Nothing. It's always got to
Yes,
be about a
yes.
woman, Donnie.
Yep.
You ever
Brings
notice
up
that?
that point. It brings up the point, Jeff. Let's just say, you're out late at night. You had some rich benefactor. I'm talking a dude that had money to burn. It's like, Jeff, I like to do stuff. I'm billions and billions over, man. I'm going to give you $5 million. I just want you to climb up the Comcast tower tonight while it's under construction. Go to the top floor and take a picture and come back down. I will transfer into your PayPal $5 million as soon as you get down to the floor.
No,
I'm not doing it. I can't. I can't. I would be frozen up
there's
there. I'd
no
get up to like
money.
the 30th floor and freeze. I'd be like, you know what? I can't. It's not even worth it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I've even mentioned before, I love like the beach and all, but even like going out and like cruises and stuff, like I'd never do that even. Like there's just something about like things that I don't know. Like I don't know what can happen in the ocean. I don't know what could happen way up there. I agree. I'm scared to jump off the high dive at a pool. Good point, Guan White. I can be scared of that kind of thing. Yeah, totally agree. Allie LaForce, fuck no. No, Allie the Force isn't even that. She's hot, but she's not even up at the top of my list. No woman could get me to do nothing like that. Nah,
No,
nah, nah, nah,
no,
nah.
not
No
even
way.
not even a ton of money. I mean, I could see if it was, I mean, you're gonna take it to the extreme, like, well, what happens if, if you didn't climb up, your dad would die? Well, I think that's a little bit different circumstance. I'm just talking money and just like, yes, you get a hot girl for it if you do it. I would be for. I can't. My body wouldn't even allow me to do it, Jeff. It just wouldn't. I would get
Well, I
up
got to
like
tell you,
30 feet, like climb the top of the bridge. Like, no, no, no.
I know my dad pretty well. He would probably tell me, "Listen, I'll die to you don't, so you don't have to go up and do
I'll
that."
take this, Jeff. I know how scared you are of heights. Look, don't worry about it. I lived a good life.
We've talked about big waves, Donnie, in like, Hawaii and all these different places.
Yeah.
Like Zach Jones talks about surfing all the time. I mean, some of these waves you see people surf, it's like you look at the way, it's amazing. It's amazing people, I don't consider I'm not a daredevil. I might do things like on the street or something that are kind of questionable, but up like doing stuff like that. Like how do you even get up to a place to do this? How do you climb up these towers and stuff? Like how do you even get up there? I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I guess you gotta be one of those guys, like, you just have like, you steal somebody's ID badge, or somebody works in the building, they give you, like, the code to take the elevator, the service elevator up to the 95th floor and go have fun doing it, but I can't understand it, and Jeff, we talked about it last night saying, don't, like, so these people have to die, like, it's not like, hey, you fall off, you get a second shot, like, you fall off, you're gone, and finally somebody did get it on film. Maybe that'll be a deterrent to the next knucklehead just doing, like, random stuff.
Yeah, hey, I guess we could say rest in peace to this guy, but I mean, no one's really blamed. But hey, he died doing what he liked to do, Donnie, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You
Maybe,
know,
and did he
I
get
don't
paid?
know.
Maybe his wife could use the money to get married to somebody else now, I guess.
I don't think he gets paid. It was him that asked for that. That was the money he was going to. I don't think he gets paid.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do skydiving. Fuck no. I'm not
Nope.
doing anything. Nothing out of a plane. I don't want to jump out of a plane. No, 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 no. Donnie, we move on to the final, at least talking point of the show, the NBA play of the day, which the other night was pretty sick, Donnie. I mean, Lakers, Knicks,
Mm.
it's what was it, a 3-point
Porzingis.
game? Yeah, they call a foul at like point 0.3 seconds to go, which, um, you know, makes no sense. I mean, uh, the time it actually ran out, but they gave him the foul anyway. And Porzingis, who's a pretty good shooting big man, goes up to the line and knocks them both down. And they even had a shot at the end. I think they put more time on the clock. Kuzma had a wide open three at the end of the game and bricked it. Definitely a tough beat on that one. But Donnie, I'm going to go back to the well here. I'm going to go to a game. This game, no one wants to bet on. This team might be one of the worst assembled starting lineups in the league, but I'm going to go to a home team here. I'm going to take a shot. And again, guys, this is just a segment on the show. I'm not telling. I wouldn't tell you to bet millions of dollars on these games. Just having some fun here, trying to talk a little NBA. I'm going to go Atlanta Hawks tonight, Donnie. They're 6-21, but I'm going to
Mm.
take the 4 points at home here against the Detroit Pistons. Detroit's lost 7 in a row. They're not playing well right now. I've had a little bit of trouble scoring. You look at over the last 3 games, 91 points a game, just having a lot of trouble putting the ball in the hole. And I know they're playing a pretty poor defensive team here, but Atlanta can score. I think they could stand this game. Wouldn't surprise me to see the streak continue for Detroit. Detroit's not playing good. Got to go on the road here. Atlanta's playing pretty decent right now, actually, for the record. I mean, they all their wins mostly have come in December here. So we'll take a shot with Atlanta. They're 6-21. They're not very good, but we'll go with Atlanta +4 in this spot, and hopefully they can get the job done against Detroit. Donnie, we go to the chat box for about 10 or so minutes here, and then we'll wrap it
Yeah,
up.
let's have
Not
some
even
fun.
5 minutes. Let's chat to some of the people here. Maybe you should train before hanging off a building. 62 stories high. 3 pull-ups should be good enough. Good point, DP13. Very good point.
Yeah, if your life's gonna
If you
depend on it, Jeff, you better make sure that, like, you know what, I think I can get, like, how you get down back in high school or college, or whenever you lift, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna put this weight on here. I know I can get 5 of these, right? So you do 5 and call it quits. You're not gonna be like, you know what, I know I could do 5 pull-ups, but I'm gonna do 6 or 7 and then try to get 8. Not the best move when your life's on the line, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, but could you imagine though that feeling where you're like you're all hype and pumped up, you got the adrenaline. I'm gonna hang off the
Yep.
side of the building right now and try to do pull-ups because it's not like anyone's watching. No one even's watching. You're just doing this for God knows why. Um, listen, Donnie, you ever like take a picture on your phone and then you look at it like a couple weeks later and you're like, why the fuck did I take a video of that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. It's like you do all this stuff just for a video that people are watching and like, wow, look at that crazy guy. And like, we don't even know who he is, but he's a fucking nut job. It's like, what are you doing this for? Like, I don't get it. At least when we do our
Yep.
videos here, there is some sort of purpose. We're giving out information where, if you're a mechanic and you're taking mechanic videos, you're teaching someone how to build a car. What are the purpose of these videos exactly? I don't get it. Because like no
I don't
one's
get
gonna
it either.
remember
You got
this
to be
guy.
sick. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and again, like the guy wanted to get married, probably was going to have kids. Good luck in like 5 years when you're like, hey, I just had a kid and looking to get a life insurance policy. Be like, yeah, well, give us your name. We'll search around. Tell us your occupation. They go, oh yeah, you climb on buildings. Yeah, you ain't getting that policy, pal. Good luck.
I mean, what's this kid's family think of him? I gotta wonder because it's like I know Asian families are pretty, they're usually pretty strict on like what they, want their kids to be. I mean, it's kind of a shame in a way. I don't know where this kid lost his way, but if this is my kid, I would be kind of pissed off. It's like kids do stupid things, and I look back to even. I mean, I'm not that old, but I look back to like when I was, 19, 20. I mean, I did some pretty dumb things. Kids do real stupid things, but it's a shame because in 5 years this kid would have been like, "Why the hell did I ever do that?" It's like it's a shame he
So
had
what's
to
your yeah, like what's your
die about it.
future in that outside of being like a YouTube star? Like, is that like, hey, look, Cirque du Soleil, look what I can do, and like you can get a job with them? Like, what's the end game for that? Or you
Yeah,
just end up in jail, don't you?
I don't know what the future work things are there, where whatever possibilities you get from that. Maybe he did bath salts and thought he could fly. Maybe good point. Did you see the new hype video for Nick Foles? No, but I will. I'll check it out a little bit later. Thanks.
I think that was on the
Um,
radio last night. Didn't somebody say that on the radio with Mikey Miss yesterday? I think he was talking about the Star
yeah, I
Wars hype
didn't
video.
I didn't
You
hear
know what,
that,
Jeff?
but
Like the whole Nick Foles like thing right now, it's a shame because I have the same feeling that I did in '04 when T.O. went down. I'm not really hyped up right now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna wait and see and hope for the best. But if Wentz never got hurt, Jeff, I'd watch a million hype videos today. You know what I mean? I'm not in the
sure.
mood to listen to this stuff yet. I'm just not. I'm still in mourning, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously, the big thing now is to get home field advantage. We'll see what happens from there. But yeah, it's hard to get excited just because it was such a great season setting up. I'll shoot dice in the hood, but don't put me 5 floors up. Agreed, totally. Um, Pistons have lost 1,000 games in a row. Tobias Harris a bum. They can't figure out who their point guard is. Yeah, exactly. Great point, DP. Uh, Betting on the Hawks is worse than hanging off a building. Yeah, but again, this thing we do, I don't really care who's playing. I'm looking at the number. I'm looking at the significance of what's going on with the teams right now. Detroit stinks. I don't want to bet on them on the road. Betting on the NBA is not about what team you think is going to win. It's about the number a lot of the time. The whole world will be on Detroit tonight. Everyone thinks Atlanta sucks. They're still an NBA team. They still have NBA talent. I'll take my shot. Um, yeah, Donnie, you look at the most physical people in the world, like the Navy SEALs and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, maybe this kid could have went and did something like maybe he could have turned his adrenaline seeking stuff into like something to help people. Like go be in the army or you know. I mean, maybe this kid could have been a real asset. Shame that he
Yeah,
died.
the
What do
adrenaline
you?
goes both ways too in that instance. Like you hear about people like, oh, the car flipped over and miraculously like two dudes were able to flip the car. But also take it back to working the opposite way. Like you get yourself so worked up that you use your energy. Going back to playing football, Jeff, I was a wide receiver and sometimes you play in a big game and run your first route of the game and you figure you ran 90 plays and you're already out of gas at that point. So I guess it works both ways sometimes.
One other thing, Donnie, back to the Temple game last. I don't know if you noticed, but the dance team, the Temple dance team, it was usually pretty
Mhm.
good, by the way. Did you
Yeah.
happen to see the guys that were dancing?
Yeah, no, but Jeff, that was the pep band guys, though. It's like a whole little
They were
farce right there.
really
Like,
good,
look, the
dude.
pep band. Yes, the
I
pep band got
noticed how
into it.
good
You got
dancers they were.
dudes
That
in
was pretty
khakis
impressive.
and hats turned backwards.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
they're out there killing it. I was impressed by that. Usually white guys can't dance, but they were pretty good.
No,
I
they're
had
getting
to
after.
I had
Yeah.
to say.
Hey, look. Well, they got to get the look. They know if they need a shot with the dance team girls, like you got to like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll learn that dance routine.
Bryce Petty's awful. The game's going to get dirty. Yeah, it's amazing, Donnie, with the Jets. I mean, because they're going to draft like Sam Darnold, and he's going to be, he's going to be
Yeah,
shit.
that Jet, you get
Uh,
back to that Jet game there. He brings up a good point. There's a lot of interesting betting angles to that because 16 in the NFL is ridiculous as it is, but I mean teams do cover, and that's why they put the spreads out there. The one thing you want to factor in this football game is New Orleans is coming in a little bit beat up in this one. Are you going to expend all your effort to beat Bryce Petty and the Jets, or are you going to wait 1 week when that monster game is on deck with the Atlanta Falcons? That's one of those angles you're going to have to look for in that game. But yeah, Bryce
that's why
Petty's thing.
that's why Donnie is the king of the NFL. He thinks of those things.
You got to think
By the way,
ahead. You got
hey,
to
by
think
the
ahead of the
way,
plan. Yeah, yeah.
Donnie, 35,188 subscribers at SBR. I want to shout out everybody. Great, great thing. I remember, Donnie, what was the number we were trying to get? You remember back,
We were trying to get over
several
28,000. It was 28, remember?
was that what it is, really?
We used to say
Wow.
28,000 subscribers out there when we just got over it. Yeah.
I feel like it was more than that, but
No, it
still,
was
it
28.
was very, very interesting. But Donnie, that's going to be it for today. We'll wrap it up. We got tomorrow. We'll be back on. We'll look forward to the weekend. Got some bowl games. Got some real NFL. Sure, we'll have a college card to talk about. A lot more to get to. Today was a tough show
Set up
just
the
because.
weekend tomorrow. Yeah, we got the bowl
Yeah,
games we can look at, some NFL, college basketball setting you up on the weekend. A lot of good stuff tomorrow. But this was a great show, man. Went by really fast with not a lot of topics. But when you throw in some stuff in that common knowledge, like the social media stuff, it's a lot of fun to do, man. Enjoy it.
yeah, no, I totally agree. Hey, Donnie, last thing on that whole Daredevil thing. I feel like if you're gonna do that, at least try to make it cool, like where you're, like you mentioned the big waves, like at least go and try to surf or something. Like at least see some real cool things. You're just like climbing up a building, you're looking down, you're just seeing like people walking. It's like, what the hell is that? Like, I mean, at least do something cool with, jump out of an airplane or something, or surf a big wave. You're just going up at the building and looking down. Wow, can't believe I actually did this. I mean, I don't know. It's stupid. Is there a shocker show today? Yes, there is, and
Mm.
it's 4 hours from now. I think 2 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Eastern. I'll find out the time. But yes, yesterday was a great day in soccer. Leicester City got the job done. Yesterday, Donnie, in the card between yesterday and Tuesday, on the Premier League punter show, I made like 9 units of profit. I'm up to like 28 units on the year with that show. So, Donnie, I'm out capping the Europeans on that show. How about that?
It's not allowed.
Do I
There's a
get
lot of
an award?
anger. There's a lot of anger towards that, Jeff. You're not allowed to do that.
Do I get an award for that? Anybody?
Yes,
Yes, hit the like button. Amen, John Rodriguez. Thank
that's the
you.
award.
Uh,
Yes.
yes, hitting the like button's my award. Correct. That's it for today, Donnie. I'll have a play of the day at some point today for the menial college hoops card, which is kind of a crime. We deserve more games. Shame. Other than that, Donnie, as always, good stuff. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday. Look out for the Premier League show a little bit later. Make sure all of you are on there because I don't want to be asking, hey, what's your play this weekend? Make sure you're on the Premier League show today, a little bit later. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you Friday. Bye-bye.